On the peaceful shores of Marlborough, New Zealand, the morning started like any other. The calm sea stretched out, and a few early risers were already out, walking along the beach. The soft sand tickled their feet as the sound of the waves filled the air. It was the perfect start to a quiet day. But soon, that peace would be broken by something incredible, a sight that would bring the whole community together. As the hours passed, a group of orcas appeared just off the coast, swimming gracefully through the water. These stunning black and white whales, known as killer whales, moved together in a tight formation, their tall fins cutting through the water. News of their arrival spread quickly, and soon people from nearby homes began to gather on the beach. Some brought chairs to sit in, while others grabbed their cameras, hoping to capture the rare moment. For those lucky enough to witness it, it was a special chance to see these powerful creatures up close, and the entire town felt connected by the experience. The orcas seemed to be enjoying themselves, perhaps hunting or simply passing by, creating a beautiful scene that enchanted everyone watching. The crowd grew, and whispers of excitement passed through as more people arrived, eager to see the display. As the sun began to set, the orcas slowly drifted back into the open sea, disappearing as silently as they had come. The townsfolk returned home that night with a sense of awe, each of them grateful to have seen something so special. The next morning, however, brought a shocking discovery. As the first beams of sunlight reached the beach, a local resident out for an early walk noticed something unusual lying near the waterline. It was large, dark, and unmoving. Moving closer, the walker realized with a jolt it was a young orca stranded on the shore. This was one of the same orcas they had admired the day before, and now she was lying helpless on the sand, far from the safety of the sea. News of the stranded orca spread quickly, and soon a crowd of residents gathered around, each person amazed by the sight of the beautiful creature lying in the hot sun. The young orca, later named Sophie, was about 6 meters long and weighed nearly half a ton. She was still breathing, but her skin was drying fast in the scorching heat, and her eyes were moving frantically, showing clear signs of panic. It seemed Sophie had chased a seal or another prey too close to the shore, where the water was shallow, and in her powerful rush, she accidentally stranded herself. While many people wanted to help, some hesitated. After all, orcas had earned their nickname killer whales for a reason. Some had seen videos of orcas hunting in the wild and feared getting too close to such a strong wild animal. But others were determined to help, believing that Sophie deserved a chance to survive. With courage, a few residents stepped forward. They began covering her body with wet towels, pouring water over her skin to keep it moist and cool. As they worked, Sophie struggled, her strong body twitching and flailing as if she didn't understand what was happening. Her large, dark eyes were full of fear, and she seemed confused by the people surrounding her. Hours passed, and the situation became more urgent. Sophie's breathing grew shallow, and she seemed to be getting weaker under the hot sun. Time was running out, so the Department of Conservation was called for help. Veterinarians, local volunteers, and even military personnel rushed to the scene. Together, they quickly came up with a plan. They would secure strong straps around Sophie's body and attach them to a boat. If they could tow her into deeper water, she might be able to swim away on her own. But as they prepared to carry out the plan, a new problem appeared. The sea was too rough for the boat to get close enough. The waves were strong, threatening to knock the rescuers off their feet. Not giving up, they tried something else. The team began digging a shallow trench in the sand around Sophie, hoping that as the tide came in, the water would help lift her and carry her back into the ocean. Despite their best efforts, Sophie remained stuck. Her massive body was too heavy for the shallow water to move. Everyone felt the weight of the challenge, but they knew they couldn't give up on this beautiful creature. A sense of urgency filled the air as rescuers and residents gathered, quickly discussing their next steps. Then someone had an idea that gave them hope. They would use flotation devices and buoys to lift Sophie's massive body, hoping the rising tide would help carry her back to safety. With little time left, everyone rushed to make it happen. As the rescuers approached her again, something incredible occurred. Sophie, who had been struggling earlier, suddenly calmed down. It was as though she understood these people were there to help. She stopped thrashing around and began cooperating. When the team needed to slide floats and buoys under her, she lifted her tail and shifted her weight to make it easier. The locals watched in awe, feeling a deep connection with the intelligent Orca. Sophie's trust in them was something truly special, and they felt honored to be helping her in her time of need. The plan was simple but risky. They would wait until the tide rose high enough, then use ropes and flotation devices to pull Sophie toward deeper water. The incoming tide was their ally, but they had to work fast. As they carefully adjusted the buoys and floats under Sophie's body, the tide slowly started to rise, inch by inch. After what felt like forever, the water finally reached Sophie's side. She began to float just a little, and the rescuers wasted no time. They pulled the ropes, guiding her slowly into deeper water. Sophie used her powerful fins to help push herself along, working with the rescuers as they moved her toward safety. The whole group focused on one goal: getting Sophie back to the ocean. After hours of hard work, the moment they had been waiting for arrived. Sophie was in water deep enough for her to swim freely. She hesitated, almost as if she couldn't believe she was finally free. Then, with a strong flick of her tail, Sophie shot forward, gliding into the open sea. But before she swam away, she turned around. Her eyes met the people who had saved her. She paused, lifting her head slightly, and made a soft, high-pitched clicking sound. The rescuers believed this was Sophie's way of saying thank you, a moment they would never forget. The crowd stood in silence, watching as Sophie vanished into the waves, her black and white body blending into the deep ocean. A wave of joy and relief washed over everyone, mixed with a sense of awe. They had just been part of something truly amazing, helping save the life of a creature as wild and mysterious as the sea itself. Word of Sophie's rescue quickly spread through the community. People couldn't stop talking about the Orca that had trusted them enough to let them help her. They shared stories, remembering how they worked together to save her life. For years, the people of Marlborough would tell the tale of that unforgettable day, not just because of the orcas near the shore, but because they had come together as a community to help a creature in need. It reminded them all of the powerful connection between humans and the incredible creatures of the ocean. That's all for today. Now, it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on The Wild Wonder.